Are you brave enough to come face to face with the creepy, fanged bloodworms lurking beneath the surface of the lake? These slimy creatures may seem harmless at first, but with their massive, venomous proboscis and translucent skin revealing their red bodily fluids, they're not to be underestimated. Find out the truth about these bait-worthy beasts and whether they have the bite to match their fearsome appearance. Stay tuned for the shocking truth about bloodworms and how bad they can actually hurt you. First up, a little bit about these bloody suckers. These pale pink or red creatures may look innocent enough, but they're actually part of the predatory Polychaeta family and the Gluceria genus. Found in shallow marine and freshwater environments, these worms can grow up to a whopping 14 inches in length. With their 4 antennas and tiny parapodia, they are well equipped to hunt and catch their prey. But don't let their slender bodies fool you. Bloodworms are also equipped with venomous jaws in their proboscis, ready to take down even the hardiest of insects, crustaceans, and small fish. Extruding their massive, intimidating proboscis, bloodworms reveal their 4 sharp, black fangs, each lined with copper minerals and connected to a venom gland. Yup, you heard it right. They have teeth made of copper. Like the metal? Nothing short of a Bond villain. It's safe to say that these are one of the most bizarre creatures ever, and probably the only worms that excrete poisonous venom. And if you're brave enough to go up against one of these worms, be warned. They can grow to intimidating sizes, capable of intimidating and harming even the smallest of fish. Despite their fearsome reputation, bloodworms are also an important part of the aquatic food chain, serving as prey for other carnivorous species. When they're out hunting, they'll slither through the mud, searching for the right feast to prey on. That's when they shoot their grappling, hookish head, revealing their 4 copper fangs that inject venom right into the target at first bite. So what does this venom do to the poor victims? Once the bloodworm gets through to its prey, the venom enters its system and can paralyze or even stop the heart of the targets. Then, the bloodworm sits there and slurps up the inside of the unsuspecting victim. Dinner is served. Now, where does the name come from? What's with the blood? Well, since their skin is translucent, we can see what's inside them. Kinda gross, right? And what's inside are these thick, slimy, dark red innards that resemble blood. Now, let's take a closer look. When all stretched out, you can see the side of the bloodworm's body, and if you look closely, you can see some spiky things pointing out. What are those? Feet? They look kind of like hair. Well, they're called parapodia. They are, in fact, like little feet that help these tiny monsters to burrow through the mud and keep in balance if they are ever in deep waters. Next, let's talk about how these slimy suckers explore. Do they have eyes? Well, not exactly. They have these little nodules on the tips of their bodies. Those are their tentacles, their sensory organs. With the help of these organs, the little monsters get to explore the space surrounding them. It helps them to sense chemicals in the water, so they know what they're getting into. There's a lateral line that runs down the side of its body, having a deep purple color. The line is how you can spot a bloodworm. It's their identifying feature. Also, just like earthworms, the bloodworm can pretty much regrow parts of its body when they're cut above a certain line. Yeah, that's a useful skill to have. But there is more to these mysterious creatures than just their powerful jaws and painful bites. Known to some as the vampires of the sea, these worms are known to have a sinister reputation. They have been rumored to have a ravenous appetite, with some even claiming that they have been known to attack and feed on larger marine life. Yes, these creatures do have mighty hollow jaws that are able to bite and cause excruciating pain. But how much harm can these bites do? Do they spit poison? Do they attack regularly? Despite their reputation, bloodworms are not aggressive towards humans and will only bite if they are provoked or threatened. However, it is best to exercise caution when handling these worms, as the sharp jaws can easily break the skin and cause a painful bite. So what would it feel like to be bitten by one? To explain this as best as possible, we'd have to say a bloodworm's bite is much like a bee and wasp bites. They contain venom that is similar to the wasps. The venom found in these worms is mostly safe for humans, but can sometimes cause an allergic reaction. If you think you might have an allergic reaction, you should look out for the signs. You may notice redness around the injured area, itching, and swelling if you have an allergic reaction. If this occurs, try properly washing your hands on the injury. If the symptoms worsen, seek medical attention right away. Otherwise, even though it'll sting a bit, you'll be okay. Don't worry. What's more is that the venom found in bloodworms share some characteristics with that of the duck-billed platypus. Following a thorough examination of the venom found in bloodworms, some would describe it as an intricate concoction of venom from various types of deadly predators from all over the world. While bloodworm bites are usually harmless, It's best to exercise caution when handling these worms, as their sharp jaws can break the skin and cause a painful bite. The good news is, these bloodworms rarely bite humans unless they are extremely threatened. When they bite people, it's not to suck out blood, it's merely a typical defense display. As a result, if you're using live bloodworms as fish bait or food, it's best to wear gloves to avoid getting hurt. These creepy crawlies have captured the imagination of scientists and fiction writers alike. Now, you might be thinking, how could something as mundane as a worm possibly be exciting? Well, hold on to your hats, because these creatures have a venomous secret. Bloodworms belong to a group of venomous annelids, which also includes leeches. While leeches use their toxins to prevent blood clotting, bloodworms use their venom to overwhelm their prey. Recently, a team of scientists set out to study the venom of bloodworms in greater detail. They looked at the RNA transcripts produced in the venom glands of 3 different bloodworm species and found a wide variety of toxins, many of which belong to known groups that kill nerve cells, pierce cell membranes, and cause excruciating pain. But the real surprise came when they found a dozen toxins that don't match anything we've seen before. They may be unique to bloodworms. The researchers also discovered that some of the bloodworm toxins are shared by other venomous lineages, such as bees and sea anemones. In fact, one bloodworm toxin was previously thought to be found only in predatory snails. Who knew that these humble worms could pack such a punch? While it may seem gross to some, these creepy crawlies can actually make for interesting and unusual pets. And if you're worried about bringing home germs and parasites from the pet store, why not try raising bloodworms at home? First things first, you'll need some food-safe plastic containers to house your bloodworms. Fill the containers with garden soil and store them in a dark place. You can either buy bloodworm eggs or gather them from standing water like ponds. But be careful, it's important to make sure you're collecting the right eggs and not those of other organisms like mosquitoes. Look for gelatinous egg sacs attached to plants, but use caution and avoid getting bitten by other animals. Once the eggs hatch, it's time to start feeding your bloodworms. Offer them a mix of powdered foods and animal manure, and watch as they mature in no time. When they're ready, use a net to catch them at night since they're nocturnal, and transfer them to a separate container. Don't forget to rinse them thoroughly and wear gloves to avoid skin allergies or infections. But before you get too excited about your new pet bloodworms, it's worth noting that their population has decreased dramatically in recent years. While an average tide used to yield around 4,000 worms in the mid-90s, now it's closer to just 550 worms. And contrary to popular belief, bloodworms are actually poor swimmers, but they do have a unique trick up their sleeves. They can use their intestines to breathe. So if you're feeling brave and want a pet that's a little bit out of the ordinary, bloodworms might be just the way to go.